Hi guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I am doing the second video within the 4-part video series on how to moot for first year undergraduate law degree students. So as outlined by the first video, just in case you haven't seen it, this is what I'll be covering. So in the first video I covered what an actual moot is and the structure of it, and in this video I'll be covering the roles within a moot and also the various lingo that you should be using. And in the third video, I will be covering the skeleton argument, the bundle, and also citations, and that basically means referencing. And then in the fourth and final video, I will be giving some final preparation tips that you can use just to kind of score more points in the competition if you're entering one. And as always, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to it if you're interested in anything law related or studenty or whatever, just anything like that really. But yeah, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you do like it, and share it if you want. I don't really mind if you don't, but yeah, let's get straight into it. So while this video is relatively short compared to the other ones, it is crucial that you don't let it go over your head, because the content that I'm covering here might be the reason you win or lose depending on how you use it, and if you use it in the correct manner, for example. So things such as lingo should be taken very seriously, as the judges will score you on, based on your lingo, your and how you address other people, for example, and just knowing the various roles as well is really important as well. It's crucial, I would say. So the first thing I'll be covering in this video will be the roles within a moot, and the most important people or person that you will encounter within your mooting will be the judge or judges. So the judge's role is basically to make the final judgment, obviously by their name, and also your role as the council members, which I'll go on to next, is to aid them in their decision making. And by this I mean you will put forward your grounds of that are outlined by your client, and then under your grounds will be your various submissions. And submissions, as covered by the first video briefly, they are basically your main points that will be backed up by various cases and previous judgments that have been made. And as mentioned just there, all of your submissions must cite some form of legal authority. Usually it's just cases within your first year, but obviously in second and third year you'll be able to cite different things such as legislation, even law reports or other things like that. So each of your submissions must be backed up by a previous legal judgment made by a judge in an actual court. And just another point about the judges or judge, if you are the senior counsel for the appellant in your moot, you want to make sure that you are checking how they would like to be addressed. So at the start, just kind of ask them in a formal way, like, what would you like to be addressed as? Would my lord or my lady or anything like that, basically. And the way you address the judges or judge throughout, so if it is a single judge, if it's a single male judge, you will say my lord, and if it is a single female judge, you will say my lady. Similarly, if there are multiple judges, so a panel of judges, you will refer to them as my lordships or my ladyships, if there are, depending on whether they are male or female. You can ask this at the start just to clarify what they would like to be referred to as, and yeah, that's how you basically refer to the judges. And yeah, just to reiterate, you do not want to be calling them Your Honour. You will most likely lose points for this if it's not your first ever moot. They might look over it in the first moot in the competition, but do not call them Your Honour. They do not like it. You will lose points for it. So moving on to the next group of people that I will introduce, so that is the senior counsels. So on both sides there will be one senior counsel and one junior counsel. I'll go on to the junior counsel straight after this. So the role of the senior counsels is basically to have, they have a longer speaking role, so they will have 15 minutes to cover the first ground that their client has outlined, and under this will include their various submissions. So these are the points that they'll make, which are backed up by legal authorities. The only real difference between the senior and the junior counsel is that the senior will cover the first ground and the junior counsel will cover the second ground. So after the first senior counsel for the appellant has done their speaking role, it will then be passed on onto the junior counsel of the appellant, and then passed on to the senior counsel for the respondent, and then the junior counsel for the respondent. And then right at the end will be a short rebuttal period where the senior counsel for the appellant will get a 2-minute time period to kind of give their final arguments. So after the first senior counsel has finished their submissions, they will then pass it on to their junior counsel. And basically, the junior counsel's role is to build upon their arguments and also make their own submissions based on the second ground outlined by their client. So the junior counsels will make completely different points to the senior counsels, but both of their arguments will support the same cause, which is their client's interests. So those are the basic roles within the moot. So you have your judge or judges on a panel, then you have your senior counsels, so one for each side, and then you have your junior counsels, one for each side. So now moving on to the various language that you should be using throughout a moot. I've outlined some before, just in that section there. Things such as Your Honour, you shouldn't be saying that. You should address them as my lord, my lady, or my lordships and my ladyships. But now to go on to the other language that you should be using. So firstly, if you want to mention the opposition, you should refer to them as my learned friend's opposite. Don't say things like he said and she said. That will probably lead to a point reduction, but the correct term for that is my learned friend's opposite, and then you can talk about their arguments that they made. This is usually used by the senior counsel for the appellant in the rebuttal period, but that's just that's how you refer to the opposition. And if you want to refer to your own partner and their arguments that they made, you can call them my learned junior if they are the junior counsel, or my learned senior if they are the senior counsel. When you're making points, so your submissions, you want to use the term I submit that, not I think that or anything like that. You don't want to be giving your own opinion throughout the moot. You basically want to be talking about the law and the law only. So it's we submit that, and then you'll proceed to your submission. So another key point is that you want to maintain a high form of professionalism throughout your whole moot. So the formalities that you use, formalities basically means how you refer to people. They need to be correct all the time. And one way in which you can ensure that you get the correct formalities is to rehearse it as much as possible before the actual moot. So you can get your partner, for example, to pretend to be the judge, and then you give your submissions and make sure that you refer to them all the time, and then they will correct you if you get it wrong. And I'll cover more on rehearsals in the fourth and final video in this 4-part series, just to let you know what you can be doing that will help you be more confident when you actually meet the real judges. Another thing that you can be saying at the start of your submission is, do you have sight of this? So that basically means, can you see what I am referring to within my bundle? And the bundle is, I'll get into that in the next video, but is basically where all of your cases are. So once you make your submission, so you say your point, and then you will say, please turn to this page. And a way of checking up on the judges, just to make sure they have got to the page, you will say, do you have sight of this, my lordships, my ladyships, or however they want to be referred to as. That's one subtle way to ensure that the judges are kind of following your argument. Another way is to ensure that you make eye contact with them if it is in person. If it's online, which I doubt it will be, you can't really do that as much, but in person you can make eye contact, and you can kind of tell when they're following your argument, and you can tell when they're also about to ask a question, so you'll be mentally prepared for this. So yeah, that's all I'll be covering for this video on the roles and the lingo that you should be using within a moot. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if I've missed anything, you know what to do. Leave a comment under the video, or even DM me on Instagram. The Instagram name is just here, and it'll be at the end as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the third video. Goodbye.